I never really know how to really start these things off, but you always hear the pastor telling a story. Well, this is what happened here. This is what happened here. But exactly. But I finally actually have a story of why I'll have this as the title. Nick, if you go ahead and throw up the title right there. Don't you love my graphic?
It's beautiful.
Don't you love it? It's just the name. Just the title. Mess in the Sanctuary. I heard a pastor say once before, the sanctuary needs to be the cleanest place. It needs to be the cleanest. It needs to be spotless. No this, no that. There shouldn't be food. There shouldn't be drink in the sanctuary. Not even water. I thought you might lost your mind, first of all. But none of that. And the cleanest part of the sanctuary has to be the altar here. There shouldn't be nothing. And I stopped and I thought, I understand what you're saying. You wanted it, but the sanctuary should be the messiest place. This is back in December. I'm like, I can't even remember the pastor. I was like, the sanctuary needs to be the messiest place in the church, especially the altar. Some of y'all are probably thinking right now, no, I don't want to be down there crying my eyes out, and whenever I pick my head up, I got somebody's pants button on my forehead. No. Some of y'all may already got what I'm saying. You're like, ooh, yes, gee, preach it already. If you know, some of y'all are too young for that. The only reason I know what that is because my dad's back there. Trust me, if you ride in the car, you're going to hear it. But, and as I was thinking about this message, I was like, again, back in December, whenever I couldn't get my mind off of my favorite verse. Psalms 23:5, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Other versions will say, my cup overflows with blessing. I can quote it without even looking. I'm not good at that though. That's the only verse I can probably do that with. Maybe two others, that's it. But I was like, God, I don't understand what this has to do with a mess in the sanctuary, but I'm going to trust you on this. He said, add verse 4 on there, then go to verse 5, and then keep going with it. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to start there then. Even though, verse 4, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And again, it's like, where do I go with that? I have no clue where a mess could show up. And God said, go to Luke 15. I'm like, what is in Luke 15? I started to look. Luke 15, 4-7. The parable of the lost sheep from the 99. Read it right now. Verse 4. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he has lost one of them, does not leave the 99, the 99 is going to be over here for tonight, in the open country and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulder, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and his neighbors, saying to them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost. Just so I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who need not repent. So you got the 99 over here. You're saying, okay, leave the 99, they're in the open country, go over here to where this one sheep is and save it because it's in danger. It's in the valley. Where did we just read that? But it's in the valley, it's lost. And it needs saving because it can die in that valley. It's going to get eaten by something, by either a lion, tiger, bear. Oh my, I don't know. I had to say it first. I know some of y'all wanted to do that. But yeah, it's in the valley, it's lost, it needs saving. And again, lion, tiger, bear.
Oh my.
I got one out of there. Thank you. And so he says, hey, I'm going to go save it. So he goes over there, saves it, and then in that time period, they would put it on their shoulder whenever they saved it, and take it back over here. And he's saying, then have a party, then rejoice. Hey guys, neighbors, friends, I got my sheep back. Open up the Coca-Cola. Get the chips and dip. Let's go. I'm now hungry. If I said that on a Sunday morning, half y'all would be like, let's go to lunch, amen. That would be y'all. If that was a Sunday morning, that would be y'all. But he's saying, Jesus is saying, let's have a party. Rejoice. The one is back with the 99. The shepherds are probably thinking, Jesus, are you stupid? Did he just say the S word? Did he just say an S word? Yeah, he did. They're probably thinking, dude, shut up, you're crazy. Did he say another S word? Yeah, I did. They're probably thinking, Jesus, you're crazy, you're nuts. Why would you leave 99 sheep If each sheep was $1, because that was their profit then. If each sheep was $1, you would have $99. They would say, Jesus, leave the one. Leave the one. That one's lost. We can renew that dollar. $99 is better than $1. But he's saying, no, that one's more important than the 99. I need to save it. It needs to come back. This ain't fulfilled. And I'm going to rejoice more whenever I find that one. The 99 aren't in the mess. The one is. And they're probably still thinking, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Well, what if it's not profit? What if it's a man? So the first point I got is the mess of the parable, or prodigal. My bad. The prodigal son. We're going to continue in verse 15, or chapter 15, and we're going to go down to the story of the prodigal. And say, to learn his messes. He's got 5 different messes. The story of the prodigal is simple enough. Some of y'all have heard it, some of y'all haven't. If you haven't heard it, the son, he comes up to his father and says, hey, I want my inheritance. I want what you have, the property you have, divided between me and my brother and give me my share. I want it. So his father does it. He gives him the property, the inheritance, and he runs off. He goes into a foreign country saying, I got my money. I'm about to have fun with it. I'm about to waste it. I'm about to spend it. He's going over to this pretty girl. How you doing? Here, have $1. Here, come over here. He says, ooh, there's another pretty girl. Hey, have a couple bucks. Do something pretty. He's going out into the clubs. Hey, food and drinks on me. Don't worry about it. Until the next thing he knows, all of his money's gone. He goes up to that pretty girl again. Hey, I ain't got no money. Wait, don't go. He's not, none of his money, nothing he had. Not a nickel, not a dime, not a... Even if you took that penny, cut it in half, not even half that penny went to a well-spent profit. Nothing. Everything was wasted, reckless living. A famine came in the country. The famine came, and he had nothing, no food. He had no money to buy the rations. So he's over here, he's like, I gotta do something. He goes and finds a job for working for someone with pigs. They don't give him a thing. They're like, I ain't got nothing to give you, but work with those pigs over there. Just do it. He does it because he knows those pigs are getting fed, and their food is called literally mess. Funny enough, we're talking about mess, and he's eating nothing but mess. He finally comes to his mind and says, I need to go to my father. Even my father's servants are well off. They're not just making ends meet. They're well off. And I'm over here starving. I'm dying here in my valley. So he goes home. His father sees him out in the distance. His father runs. No, not just sprint walk or anything like that. His father goes straight up runs. I know a little bit about running. I was in track. That was not easy in these boots. I'm not going to lie. I did not prepare myself for that. And so his father says, no, don't say you're not my child. Don't say that. I ran to you for a reason. Hey, servants, come here. Put a robe on him. Give him a ring on his hand. Put shoes on his feet. We're going to have a feast. We're going to rejoice. My son's home. If you keep going on, the other son is like, why don't I get nothing? I've been working my tail off. He said, look, you've done good. You are earning yourself. But he's home. He was lost. He was dead. He's home now. But to reveal the 5 messes, I can tell you all that and you will still know nothing. To reveal the 5 messes he went through. The first one was asking for the inheritance and taking the inheritance. Luke 15:12. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me my share of property that is coming to me. In that day and age, no, even in today's day and age, if you was to go up to your mother, your father, and say, hey, I want my inheritance, you just smack them in the face. You're telling them, hey, I don't care that you're alive. In fact, I want you dead. I want you to give me what's coming to me now. I want you dead. It don't matter if you're alive. I want what's mine. What's coming to me. Just give it to me. That's where his mess starts building up. The first mess he has start to pile on his shoulder, and he don't even know it. Because next thing you know, he's wastefully living. Point 2, or mess 2, wastefully and reckless living. Luke 15:13. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country. And there he squandered his property in reckless living. Not a dime, guys, not a dime to save. Not went to nothing. That was his second mess. And while that second mess came to pass of wasteful, reckless living, those girls he was seeing, those clubs he was at, all but nothing but messes just piling up, weighing him down like a big old rock ready to crush him. 4, getting nothing and eating literally mess. Luke 15:16. And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate. Mess, like stuff that's gone old rotten. Sorry, yes, that as well. And no one gave him anything. No apple for him, nothing. Just a rotten mess that he was eating. And even with that, he is still starving. He is still dying. And he's now being crushed so low down. He's being crushed so low that he finally realizes his 5th and final mess that just splatters him, seeing that he is no longer his father's son. He was practicing this before he planned on going home. Luke 15:19. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. So he went home. He said, he saw his father out in distance. His father saw him. His father ran. In those days, if you wore a robe, men wore robes that were down to their feet, you didn't see a thing, because it was also considered disgraceful if you even showed your legs. If you showed your legs and to run, like I said, I know a little bit about running. You need length on your legs to be able to run. If you had that robe on, you wouldn't have been able to run. So he had to literally pick it up, show off his legs. I don't know if they're shaved or not, don't ask me. And run to his son. While all of his neighbors, all of his servants are looking at him. Why is he running? Why is he doing this? This is disgraceful. Why? And why did that son? They saw the son too. Why did him? Why look at him and say, I want to run to him? His other son's over there doing all the work. Why? Why? He finally gets to his son. His son says, look, I'm not your son anymore. Treat me as a servant. He says, no, forget that. If you want to talk about servants, let's talk to a servant. Luke 15:22 through 24. But the father said to his servants, bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to celebrate. He said, no. You are my son. Don't you dare. You may have a mess on you right now, but hey, servant, you, come here. Hey, him, give him the best robe. Give him a ring for his hand, feed him, shoes on his feet. Take that calf that we've been saving for a big feast, kill it, because I'm about to prepare a table for him. I'm about to prepare a table. We're about to feast. We're about to rejoice. He was dead, but he is alive. That mess is no longer on him. Joe, I'm in quickly if you want to go ahead. Mess is no longer on him. He was lost. He was in the valley of the shadow of death. Guys, but he came home to the Father. And see, I can relate to the prodigal story a little bit. And my favorite verse, again, is Psalm 23:5. After reading this and seeing that the table was prepared for the prodigal son, the table was prepared for him. I've got a better respect for my favorite verse and for this story. Because I'm a prodigal son. I'm a prodigal child. If I was to ask you the definition of what prodigal means, most of y'all would say someone that's a wasteful spender, someone that's recklessly living. But if I told you there was a second definition of prodigal, would you believe me? Prodigal. Second definition: having or giving something on a lavished scale. Wait, he just went out, took all that he had, and all of it's gone, and yet he's going to be lavished upon? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why lavish yourself on him? Well, why did Jesus die on the cross for us? Why is he lavishing himself on us? Whenever we could live, he could have easily said, I'm not taking this. He could have easily looked at me and my prodigal self whenever I was wastefully living, whenever I didn't believe in a God. I grew up in church. I knew all the stories. But there came a time where I said, you're not real. I ran from my Heavenly Father. The next thing I know, I find out I'm in a valley, I'm dead, I'm dying, I've got a mess on me, and it's weighing me down. I'm now hitting my knees on a youth trip back in 2012, 2013, saying, God, if you're real, I accept you. And from that day on, I was lavished upon. No, I'm not saying everything is perfect. I'm not saying everything went smooth. No, I still dealt with the depression. I still dealt with the anxiety. I still dealt with all the stresses. I dealt with it. But I'm still lavished upon today, even though I went through it. I'm still lavished upon. And I went from, even though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, go on to verse 5. You prepare a table before me. You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies, in the presence of my anxieties, in the presence of my depressions, in the presence of my stresses, in the presence of my thoughts, in the presence of my messes. You may be asking, the message is called Mess in the Sanctuary. Why? Because the mess needs to be in here, not out in that world. The mess is where the world is at, but it needs to also be in here so it can be laid down at the altar. Come to God and say, you are my Father. I ran back to you because I needed you. I needed you, God.